Hey friends and family, welcome to Marcy Creates. This is Marcy, and today we're going to continue on our Tuesday tutorial. If you recall, last week we made this beautiful focal piece out of the Winter Wonderland bargain bead box beads. If you've not seen that video, it is uploaded from last Tuesday, and I'll just walk you through. We did a wire wrapped component that we made. We used the toggle clasp pieces as drops. We put these beautiful crystal beads in a wire wrap pattern in the U shape, and now we're going to make the rest of the necklace. We're going to do the beaded portion that's going to hang. So I'm going to put this aside. This is our inspiration piece, and what we're going to need today to work on this is you're going to need a couple of covers, crimp covers, some crimps. Got the crimps right here. Looks like I'm going to need a few more covers. I got these by Bead, and these are called Wire Guardians, which I'll show you what I do with those. And then we've got this beautiful, of course, we've got our stringing wire, Bead 49 strands. I like to use that. And I've cut this into two pieces, about a little over 12 inches. The necklace is going to hang, actually these are more like 14 inches, I believe. I wanted the necklace to hang lower. Yeah, there's about 14 inches each. So I'm going to put those to the side just for a second. And then we have all these gorgeous beads that came in the Winter Wonderland box. We have the quartz and the graduated colors, beautiful crystal beads, the snowflake crystal beads, some charms, of course, spacer beads, and snowflake spacer beads, and then we have some bead caps. So a lot to choose from. So what I thought I would do is show you a little of my thought process. And I like to make, when I'm making a necklace like this, collections of what I call stations. And what do I mean by that? So before I actually string on any beads, I like to make little sections of patterns, and then I string them together. So like, for instance, one of my thoughts was to, that bead feels weird. Anyway, let me get back to my regularly scheduled necklace here. I loved these quartz beads, so I wanted those to be in the center of a couple of stations. And I think I'm going to do 3 stations and then fill in. And then what I like to do is fill in with some spacer beads. So for instance, I think this big round guy in the middle with these, and maybe 3 of these crystal beads, these beautiful, I love these rondelles, they're just so sparkly. That could be one. And then, of course, I want to use some bead caps. I kind of put them to the side there, so I know I want to use those. And of course, we got to make one for the other side of the necklace. So I do use a beadboard sometimes. I know a lot of people use them, but lately I've just been kind of free-forming it and not really using the beadboard as much. Either way is fine. It's what you're comfortable with. Don't feel like you have to use it or not have to use it. They are very helpful when you're beginning making jewelry, and they do have all the nice little cubby holes so you could put your beads. So that's station number 1. And then I might want to repeat that. The big thing is, I think these beads here, there's only 2 of that size. So let's work on another so-called station. So then I thought, I love these snowflake beads. I call them snowflake beads because of the pattern. And I definitely want to use some of these really pretty snowflake spacer beads next to that. So we'll do that. And then I love these dark blue bicones. And also, what I'm also doing is I'm trying to make sure that I'm picking up, at least representing what I have on my dangle, on my focal piece. So I have some of those bicones. I'm using the rondelles. I'm using these round beads. I'm using a different size quartz bead, and I'm using the snowflake components. So just a thought, just if you want to stay consistent. And so initially, before I even string, I play around with like patterns, just what I'm doing right now. And I just kind of take a look at them and see if I like them. If I want to change anything up, I already see something I might change up. So we've got these, and let me scooch in a little so you could see these a little better. So these are the two stations I have so far. Now, these look great. I'm thinking of introducing some of these, even though they're not in my focal. That's okay. I think you want to make sure you have what you have in your focal represented, but you can certainly add other things. I mean, it's designer's choice, of course, as always. And so I think I like that. And then I think I want to do one more kind of focal thing. And maybe, let me think here. Maybe we'll let the stars be the centerpiece of those. So we'll grab a couple stars. Maybe back out of here just a little so you can see. And I really love these quartz beads. So let's use some of these. I'm using smaller ones. Use like odd numbers if you can. Odd numbers are visually more interesting to the eye. So when you're thinking of, pardon my arm, if you're thinking of doing this way, just think odd numbers in your stations. And I'm going to check that in a minute. Just, you know, make little patterns. And this is by no means the only way to string a necklace. I'm just showing you my thought process and how I kind of attack what I'm doing. And then I may or may not change that up. So basically we have 7 beads here. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 there. I don't really count the bead caps because they kind of add to the bead, but they're not really a bead. Maybe I'll add some spacers in between, which is fine, to add a little more silver. I think I'll do that. Yeah. Okay. Now, another thing I tend to do is, as I start stringing, I might change it up a bit. So I just kind of keep the beads by me in case I decide I want to zhuzh it up, as they say. So you're going to take your first wire and you're going to attach it to your component. Now that I have my my pattern sort of laid out here, and we're going to use these wire guardians. Now, the reason I like to use these I'm going to try to see, they're kind of U-shaped, and they have, let me grab a little plier here. Hopefully you can see that. They have this little groove and a little channel, and that little channel is where you're going to put your wire. And what I like about these is, so they're on your piece, they're going to hang. Your wire's going to go through the little horseshoe shape, and it's going to hang like this. See that? And what that will do is eliminate friction between your wire and your piece, which will make your necklace, I think, hang better, and also keep the friction from your necklace possibly falling apart. So what I'm going to do first is attach only one side. Let me move these out of the way. We're going to need a crimp bead, crimp tube. We're going to need a horseshoe. And you basically, you're going to put your crimp bead on, and then you're going to thread your beading wire through these little notches, and they are tiny. In fact, you want to make sure that your end, see my end is not really sharp. You want to make it sure it's sharp so it fits through this, because these channels are tiny. It is a little fidgety, okay, but it's worth it to make your necklace secure. I really like using these. Okay, so you can see I've got it on one side here. And now we're going to loop it. It's got a little channel, and we're going to loop it through to the other side. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Take a deep breath. Patience. Your crimp tube is right here. This is the short end of your necklace, of your connection. And you just want enough room, okay? Because when you crimp, you don't want those wires to cross. So before you slide your tube over the other piece, you have to attach it to your component. So we're going to take this, and it's open. You can see that. And we're going to add it just like this. See that? And now we're going to slide our crimp tube like that. And you want a long enough piece so that you can keep these from not crossing. Okay, so kind of hang on to them like that. You want to get as close to that U shape as you can. You want a little wiggle room because you do want movement in your necklace. This really is a matter of just making that wire more secure and not rubbing against that component. So now I'm gonna come in with my crimp pliers, and I'm gonna be very careful. We're going to be very careful in crimping. And then, oops, I'm sorry. I was off camera when I did that, but basically I squished it. And now I'm going to squish it again. And I do believe these are not crossed, so that's good. I like these Xyron crimpers. I think they do a good job. And now we're going to trim our little bit of excess here. See, now we have a little bit sticking out. You could probably string a bead on there and it wouldn't be a big deal. But you really don't need it. I'm just going to come in and trim it. Later on, when we finish up the necklace, we are going to cover our crimp bead with a crimp cover. And I picked these frosty ones. I thought they were pretty and would look nice with this theme. So now we have our string attached. Now we can start stringing. So now I need to decide what order I want to do these in. So I generally like to do smaller things up at the top of the necklace and maybe a big thing in the middle and a medium thing on the bottom. That's just me. That's just the way my mind works. You can string it any way you want, but I think I'm going to start with this middle row, and I'm just going to string on my components that I laid out earlier. And if you don't use a bead mat, I mean not a bead mat, but a bead board, find you one of these mats with the beadsmith with the ruler at the bottom. Those are very invaluable for figuring out. Now look what I did. See, I'm too busy talking. I've already messed up my pattern. You want to just kind of keep an eye on how long you're beading, just so you have enough wire at the end to, you know, manipulate depending on how you're going to make your closure. Today we're going to do like a little bit of a hybrid. I'm doing a lobster claw clasp with a side of a toggle, but I'm just going to run the wire through and do simple crimping, so that won't be too difficult. But just it's nice to be able to see how long everything is, and then if you want to, once you add one of these components, you'll see how long that's actually taking up on your string, and you will maybe decide you want to add some things in between these stations. That's kind of why I do it that way. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. Let me just get the rest of these on this one side. I think this mix is so pretty. This Winter Wonderland from Bargain Bead Box. I just love it. It looks so cozy and wintry. Everything coordinates nicely, and I love the sparkle, of course. Don't we all love the sparkle? It's my favorite thing. All right. So this is our first station of beads. Okay, and we're going to add, I think, this bigger one next. And now I'm thinking, do I want to put anything in between the stations? Which I frequently do. And I do think I might do like three little spacers in between each station. So I'm going to do that next. I'm just adding the little saucer beads that came in the mix. Whoops. If they're going to cooperate. Sorry for bringing this video so late to you today, but you know, it's hectic time before the holidays, trying to get everything ready. And I did want to get this Tuesday tutorial out to you since we only had half a project out there. So here is my first station with the, I like that, with the stacked saucer beads. That makes a nice little texture. And now we're going to come in with this bigger station, and we're going to string that on. So everything is just, I love blue. I really do love it. And boy, they pick some pretty beads in this mix. I love these with the shimmer and the frostiness. Okay, and then we're going to use a bead cap. Beautiful quartz bead. Another bead cap. And I suppose I could use a bigger bead caps, but I'm sticking with what's in the box. I think it adds enough sparkle. That's pretty. All right, and then we got to do the other side. And our rondelles. Very pretty. And there's station number 2. And we're going to add 3 more of these because we're going to do that between each station. Oops, come here. And you're going to watch me drop beads? That's, it wouldn't be a jewelry video with me without some beads being dropped, I guess. And I know I'm in good company because everybody does it. All right, so that's station number 2. It's turning out really pretty. I love all those beads. All right, we're gonna do our last one. And we were gonna do another quartz bead, a spacer bead. These are so smooth, they're like popping out of my hands. That's why I keep dropping them. Another quartz bead. Oh, this is going to be really pretty, you guys. I hope y'all got this box. I think this is one of the prettiest ones. Spacer. Let's do a clear glass. I think this is a Druk. Another snowflake. Crystal snowflake. Oh yeah, that's pretty. And this is, you know, this is your choice. I mean, this is where your idea of the patterns and how you want it to look should come out. And sometimes, now I didn't really lay that out the way I had it out there, but I actually like this better than what I had there previously. So I'm going to go with this pattern. That happens to me frequently. You know, like I said, you get in the middle of it and maybe you strung something extra you weren't going to put there, but then you like it. So just make sure that nobody's going to know, okay, what you intended. As long as the other side matches this side, hey, you're a genius. So just don't worry about it. Keep going. Because I noticed where I messed up, but I'm good. It's all good. It's going to be beautiful no matter what. Because you're using beautiful beads. So there you go. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So we're stringing. Okay, now we're at the end. Now we're at the end of this station. So now the question is, do you like the length? And Ginger says no. I don't know if you can hear that. That is my puppy. And somebody has got her upset. Now, you can also leave the wire showing. That is not a big deal. If you don't want the wire showing, you can make a few more stations. I'm checking to see how long this is going to be. And I think I'm actually going to create another grouping here to make this long. So I'm going to, since I've been adding these saucer beads in between each station, I'm going to continue with that. And then I think I'm going to do another pattern of smaller beads, and then I will be done. Well, then we got to do the other side. Yeah, if you did get this box, these little saucer beads are so smooth that they're slick. They want to slip through my fingers. Okay, so that's our new one. We're going to make a new one here, so I think I'm going to grab another one of these. Some more of these. What do we want in the middle? Another one of these. Do we have another one to do on the other side? We do. Make sure you have enough as you're improvising. Nothing's worse than getting to the other side and then realizing you don't have enough to finish your idea. So I think I want something bigger than that, actually. I'm thinking maybe another size of this. Yeah. Let's make sure. These were a graduated strand, so you do have to make sure that they match. Okay, so let's do that. We'll add these. And I think since I used a bead cap on this piece of quartz, I will do the same thing for this one. Bead cap. If you're like me, you're still scrambling about getting holiday stuff ready. We're going to have some family in, which we're excited about, that we don't get to see very often. My sister and my nephews are going to be here, and they live in LA, so I don't get to see them very often. And so that's really a treat for us. All right. So now I think I really like this. Let me hold it up. You can get an idea. I like the length. And I think that'll work well. So for this side, I'm going to put the lobster claw on this side, I think. If I can get it open. Again, this is not, if you care about your manicure, don't play with wire and beads. Okay. Although I have seen some folks that make some of these jewelry. I'm trying to think of Alicia at Beautiful Nights. She always has such beautiful nails. I don't know how. And she makes gorgeous jewelry if you've not seen her channel. Alicia at Beautiful Nights. I love her channel, and her nails are stunning. I don't know how she does it. I can't make jewelry and have nails like that, but more power to her. So, another thing I like to do at the end of a necklace is just grab a few, last few beads to just kind of make a stopping point between my connection and all my little stations. And that's, again, this is just me and my thought process. You do not have to do this. And then I'm going to take my crimp bead, and we've got, as you can see, we've got plenty of wire left, which if I don't use all this, of course I'm not going to. I have enough here that I could probably use some of this for an earring or something, so I always save it. We're going to grab our lobster claw. Come here, lobster claw. And now we're going to tighten this up and crimp it. And this is always tricky. Some people string through their beads. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. It just depends on what kind of beads I'm using. But I think today I will do that since the string decided to go in there anyway. And you just want to make sure you don't have a lot of huge pockets. And you also want to make sure, if you can see, let me scoot in a little bit more what I'm doing. I'm just making sure there's not a lot of slack in my beads, but you don't want it so tight that they can't move around. It's a little bit of a balancing act. And I will show you a trick if you end up with too much wire, what you can do to kind of fill in and not feel like you got to start over, because that's so frustrating. But we're going to crimp again, and of course we don't want our wires crossing. Just trying to eyeball where those wires are. There we go. All right. Boop. Now we're going to cut this. All right. This is one of our sides. Oops. So now you can see, I'm going to hold this up so you can see where it's connected again. So here's our connection with the wire guardian. Okay, and we are going to put a bead cover over our, and you don't have to, but I find that it's scratchy, and I don't want that to snag on anybody's clothing or catch them. So I like to put the bead cover, and I think the bead cover, you know, adds a little more sparkle to the whole thing. Then we have our stations with our spacer beads in between that we made. And then we finished off with our lobster claw. And we'll do another bead cover. So that's basically it. Now, the cool thing is, you've already made up your pattern, so you just have to do the same thing on the other side. So I am going to time-lapse this and finish this side, and then I will be right back with you to kind of say goodbye and discuss kind of my trick with the bead covers on if you have like too much slack right here, because that may happen. It always happens to me, it seems. So stay tuned. Enjoy the little quick run through on the other side, and I will be right back with you. Okay, so I'm back, and I have this all strung, and we are going to attach the other end of our wonderful component. This was one side of a toggle, and I just am using the loop side of it, which is another idea. So again, I'm just going to put on my crimp tube and loop my now this is a spot where you could use another wire guardian if you wanted. I am not going to do it for this project, but I have been known to do it. I feel like the swinging down below is going to be more friction But by all means, if you feel like you want to put one there, certainly do. We're just gonna try to get this all leveled out here so we don't have a bunch of space. And slack, as they say. Boy, I guess a lot of people are getting packages because I'm right by the window and all I hear are trucks going by. I don't know if you can hear that on my video or not, but I'm sitting in a different spot in the house today. I'm not in my studio, and I'm right by a window, and there's somebody with their stereo going banana. That makes my dogs bananas. Motorcycles and anybody that has like their bass on real high on their radio in their car, my doggies are just start howling. All right, so now we're going to crimp this out. It's kind of like Ghostbusters. Don't cross the streams. Don't cross the wires. We're going to crimp. All right. Cool. So now, just some finishing touches. So, as I said, one of the things I like to do is, wow, that really turned out pretty. Let's just gander at that a moment and we'll finish it up. I love how the light plays on this. All of these beads are just so pretty. Isn't that sparkly? That just says holiday to me. But anyway, we still have a little finishing up to do. For instance, we've got these tubes we need to cover, and I'm probably going to cover these with some of these crimp covers. So we're going to do that right now. And so how I do that is I take some long nose, flat nose pliers like this. And I can't remember who, I saw somebody do this and I wish I could remember who it was. But it really helped me with my putting these around crimp beads. But you want it in your pliers like this, and then you just come in to the side where your crimp is, and now you're going to, the slower you do this, the better. So you just want to gently, and I do mean gently and slowly, close this. And then we're going to do, yeah, that turned out pretty good. I mean, sometimes they're a little squished like melons. I don't think that's a big deal. But what you don't want, you want it to be even so it looks like another little bead, basically. And it gives it a nice finished piece. Finished look to your piece, I should say. So gently do that. And now it looks like a little bead. And now up here, we're going to do the same thing. There's a little pack by Beadalon I like. It has, I'm using these frosty ones, but these are kind of fluted. I don't know if you could see that. Here's some smaller ones here if you're doing like small crimp beads instead of tubes. And then they have the big, just shiny ones right there. So I'm using the larger of this, kind of got a brushed texture to it. And I just like that. It kind of adds, like I said, the sparkle to the necklace. So we're going to do this a few more times here. So we have a couple more crimps to cover. We're going to gently close that. Okay. Just like that. Once you get the hang of this little technique, it's really, I used to really fight with my crimp covers until I saw somebody do this. I just wish I could remember who it was so I could give them credit. because it changed my world. Might have been Kelly from Kelly's Bead Boutique, actually, now that I think about it. I'm a big fan of hers. I love her channel, too. I think it was Kelly from Kelly's Bead Boutique. All right, very slowly, very gently. There. All right. Now, my trick, if you had, this space between here doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, you can add another crimp cover and make it look like another bead. And I know that's not a trick I came up with, but see, there's a space there. But you don't want your necklace so tight. I'm not going to do that on this one. If there was more space than that, to me that's an acceptable amount of space, because you don't want your necklace so tight that it's going to bust. But here's our finished necklace. So let's put our clasp on. And you could put an extender chain on here if you wanted. Again, designer's choice. And but I just left it like this, and so that's a very nice way to finish it off. I think this has turned out so pretty. Let's move some of these items out of the way. Whoop! Whoa, made you seasick there. So sorry. Anyway, here's our finished piece. And we'll scooch in a little. But here's all our really pretty crystal beads. This Winter Wonderland mix from Bargain Bead Box is just so pretty. I just love it. All our little stations that we made. Our beautiful component that we made last week with the wire. And see, when this hangs now, it's gonna really, this part will have lots of movement. You can see just on the mat. So when I do my finished jewelry update for this Bargain Bead Box, obviously I will have this featured, and we will definitely have some companion pieces with this. I hope that this nice two-part tutorial was inspiring and fun. Can't say enough about the Bargain Bead Box. What a great value if you don't get it. I did hear they are going up a little in price, but the price is still going to be very reasonable. Basically about $20, and you get $60 to $70 worth of items, plus be able to shop on their sister site with a 30% coupon all month long. So I'm a big fan of the Bargain Bead Box, and I really love this mix. So I was happy to do a tutorial with it today, and I just appreciate you all watching. Those of you who have subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. I am trying to grow the channel. Every Tuesday I do tutorials, and Sundays are BB Craft Sundays, where we play around with some items from BB Craft. And then, of course, I am a design ambassador for Jesse's James Beads, so you will see a lot of items from them, as well as a big fan of Soft Flex. So lots of finished jewelry coming up. I am going to take a few days off after this video to enjoy my friends and families during this holiday season. I hope that you all will do the same and get some rest, eat some good food, have a lot of laughs, enjoy your families, get hugs, you know, have all the snuggly, fun, warm feelings you have around the holidays when you can be with people that you care about. Please take care of yourselves and be safe, and I will see you on the next video.